Did you know that when you're making an ice cream sundae, you should not use cement instead of ice cream? Instead, you should use ice cream. This is because cement is for building, not for eating. Did you know that when you're making a sandwich, you should not use cardboard instead of bread? Instead, you should use bread. This is because cardboard is for packaging, not for eating. Did you know that when you're playing soccer, you should not use a pumpkin instead of a soccer ball? Instead, you should use a soccer ball. This is because pumpkins are for carving, not for kicking. Did you know that when you're making a salad, you should not use gravel instead of lettuce? Instead, you should use lettuce. This is because gravel is for landscaping, not for eating. Did you know that when you're brushing your hair, you should not use a whisk instead of a hairbrush? Instead, you should use a hairbrush. This is because whisks are for cooking, not for grooming. Did you know that when you're baking a pie, you should not use rubber instead of dough? Instead, you should use dough. This is because rubber is for tires, not for baking. Did you know that when you're making a campfire, you should not use a laptop instead of firewood? Instead, you should use firewood. This is because laptops are for computing, not for burning. Did you know that when you're painting a wall, you should not use peanut butter instead of paint? Instead, you should use paint. This is because peanut butter is for eating, not for painting. Did you know that when you're making a hat, you should not use spaghetti instead of fabric? Instead, you should use fabric. This is because spaghetti is for eating, not for wearing. Did you know that when you're making a candle, you should not use crayons instead of wax? Instead, you should use wax. This is because crayons are for coloring, not for melting into candles.